my last video that I put up by Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers, Last Days for Jehovah Witnesses, was taken down because I used their song that they wrote together. But the information that I put in there is critical. People like Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers, and many people who have careers in acting, singing, playing golf, baseball, football, all these things that is a career, and they enjoy what they do. So Wise Watchtower is using Jesus' words, the destruction of these people, and claiming they are part of the prophecy of the last days, because they can't comprehend what the last days signs are. When people like me have woken up and see the signs in the heavens proving that we are in the last days, am I supposed to go against Christ's words, or should I obey all the words of the Watchtower and the governing body? It's something to think about. Now this week, all over the world, they had this small talk, and I'd like to share part of it with y'all, and then we'll take it one step further, showing why you cannot trust the governing body. If anything, they should have the front row seats of the destruction of the evil in this organization they call the truth. So let's get in here and let's have some fun.
Deliverance from what, you might say? Well, as students of the Bible, and of those of us who are interested in the Bible, we recognize that this world that we're living in is dealing with some...
First of all, students of the Bible. If they was really students of the Bible, there wouldn't be people believing this false religion. There wouldn't be people committing crimes and other things that cause people to want to leave this so-called true religion. You wouldn't be able to find one speck of dirt or dust if this was a really truthful religion. You can't. But guess what? You can. If you put your minds and the fear out of your brain, thinking that God's going to destroy you if you do a background check on your false religion, and that's what it is, your false religion. So let's get into this a little bit more.
Some trials sometimes. Many of us, we're facing health issues, chronic fatigue, chronic syndromes of all sorts. And these struggles that we face make us look forward even more so to the blessings that are promised in the Bible for us to come. In this week's Bible reading, we saw Jesus explain that he will bring down judgment upon the wicked through Jehovah's direction, and he's going to bring about our deliverance from this wicked system of things. But what will that time be like? What will it be like when Jesus Christ comes to deliver us? Well, it's interesting. We're going to discuss that tonight. And we're going to first take a look at the book of Luke, chapter 21, and a portion of our Bible reading for this week. And let's read together verses 25 through 28, just to get a sense of what Jesus said it would be like during this period of time. That's Luke chapter 21. And let's read together verses 25 through 28. And there it reads, "Also, there will be signs in the sun and moon and stars, and on the earth anguish of nations, not knowing the way out because of the roaring of the sea and of its agitation. People will become faint out of fear and expectation of the things of coming upon the inhabited earth, for the powers of the heavens will be shaken. And then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. But as these things start to occur, stand up straight and lift up your heads, because your deliverance is getting near." So Jesus Christ here is describing a very, very tumultuous period of time. In fact, in verse 25, you'll notice he said that there will be signs in the sun and moon and stars. And many of us have wondered, and we may wonder, is that going to be a literal thing?
See, here's the problem. When people start reading the Bible, and when the Bible says one thing, and Watchtower's teaching another thing, who are you going to trust? Are you going to trust Jesus' words, what they just got done reading, that's in the Bible? Or are you going to call Jesus a liar, the Holy Bible completely full of lies? Because Christ said one thing and he should have said something else. I'm going to use an example. This is what Watchtower is trying to say in a weird way. What you're going to hear next. It's almost like Christ was talking about this mountain, but actually by Watchtowers thinking they know that Christ's words, he's talking about this little molehill over here, or this little ant hill. When Jesus is talking about men, he was actually, by Watchtower's knowledge, that he's actually talking about sisters, the women. So everything what Watchtower says is opposite what Jesus says and what he teach. Don't believe me? Hear it for yourself.
Well, as we know about the Bible, there's usually a very symbolic significance to the words that are being said. So in the world today, we can definitely see that maybe some people could be considered the stars, such as the governmental rulers, the world leaders. They are looked up to and elevated in many different ways. Even celebrities in some ways are looked up to as stars in the system, and they will come to an end as Jehovah brings a destruction upon the world. But it's very possible that...
See how they took people like Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers, and many people who got in sports and different things. They are going to be doomed because of their career, because they're not knocking on people's doors and teaching the lies of Watchtower, teaching that they're the only true religion, they're the only ones that knows the Bible, but they can't get the signs of the stars, of the sun and the moon. This should wake you up, people, to realize you got these ignorant men. No difference between other false religions, has corrupted the hearts, the minds, of every Jehovah Witness. So let's go a little bit further in this talk.
According to various scriptures, including Isaiah 13:10 and even Joel 2:30 verse 31, that the stars of the heavens and their constellation will not get off their light. There may be celestial phenomena coming in the time when Jesus comes to destroy this wicked system.
Do you see the contradiction? Saying that possible something could happen, but over here they're pointing at a group of people in the entertainment system. Can you see and hear the nonsense coming out of his mouth and the mouth who wrote this ridiculous talk worldwide? Let's continue.
A couple weeks back, many of us were in our homes and we probably heard the thunder from that thunderstorm that we had. The point, I lived in the building, Rochdale Village, and the building is it's practically a bomb shelter, and I felt the building shake when the thunder came, and I was nervous. But I knew I'm secure. I'm not going to get any rain in my house, but I was still nervous just based on thunder. Here we're seeing that the stars won't give us light, the earth will shake. People are going to be nervous about these different signs, but these are just some of the physical signs that may happen during that period of time. But what else will happen that'll be significant?
May happen? May happen? We already seen some signs. How this earth is falling apart. Look at Hawaii. And I just found out they had a hurricane over there. People, we are at the brink of a earth malfunction. And all the signs that the Bible has given us, we have to believe is coming true. Earthquakes, food shortages, all this stuff is happening worldwide. You cannot take something what Watchtower tells you as a grain of salt, especially when their salt loses its flavor and it's worthless. So let's continue with this ridiculous talk.
Well, we're afraid of well, at least I'm afraid of a thunderstorm sometimes, the nerves that come with it. But if everything around us is in chaos and we don't know what's going to come next, we're going to be very nervous. Let's take a look at Luke 21 verse 26 to see what the enemies of Jehovah will feel. There it says, people will become faint out of fear and expectation of the things coming upon the inhabited earth, for the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Faint out of fear. This is what will happen to people when they don't know what's going on. Now, in a thunderstorm, we know that the storm will end, so the fear that comes with that first initial sound kind of diminishes because you recognize that it's going to come to an end soon. But if you don't know what's going to come next, if you see these tumultuous things adding up, then that anxiety will lead you to a point where you'll be stressed out. And here's what's going to happen to them, which I really enjoy. Verse 27 and 28. And then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and glory, with power and great glory. I'm sorry, just 27. So on top of the signs, physical signs, they will see Christ in some way, shape, or form coming in power and great glory. And it will be undeniable that he is coming to destroy those who disobey Jehovah. So now how should we feel about these things that are coming? Again, we've just enumerated them. We see them in the Bible. We understand what's going to happen. Should we be afraid? Well, no. Because what does the coming of the deliverance that Jesus Christ is promising means to us? Well, as we mentioned at the beginning of the talk, sickness, suffering, pain, all the different things that we're facing today, that deliverance, well, that's going to bring a deliverance from all of those things. But also, it is the vindication of Jehovah's name. being done right before our eyes. We will be privileged to be able to see that happening, to see the enemies of Jehovah doing this. Let's take a look at Revelation chapter 6, verses 15 through 17, please. That's Revelation chapter 6, verses 15 through 17. And it says there, "Then the kings of the earth, the high officials, the military commanders, the rich, the strong, every slave and every free person, hid in the caves and among the rocks of the mountains. And they keep saying to the mountains and to the rocks, 'Fall over us and hide us from the face of the one seated on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb, because the great day of their wrath has come, and who is able to stand?'" All these people that we mentioned, the high officials, the military commanders, the rich, the people who now essentially floss and show off their wealth and the power that they have in front of us, will be begging for the mountains to fall on top of them.
Yes, that would be the leaders of Jehovah Witnesses. Probably their secret bunkers they probably have in their new cult complex. People, this is a sign and a warning. If you don't want to lose your life and your everlasting hope to get eternal life, then we have to examine all our past teachings, all the false teachings of watchtowers or any other languages. We got a storm head in this direction. So people, you have to study. Our lives are critical. Just like you buying a new car. A friend of mine told me that her so-called boss lady bought a Jeep. She's already having problems with its Jeep. And they looked it up, this Jeep. Everybody's saying to stay away from it. She didn't heed the warning. Well, it's just like us telling you. Not only we was in this false religion, we have the credentials of all the research that we have done, even our YouTube channels, the websites, everything to prove you cannot trust anything that comes from Watchtower. You have to see the real truth for what it is. And you cannot take scriptures and fit them the way you want it to be for it to make your religion to look like it is superior than all the other religions out there. Because you cannot tamper with the Bible. You cannot tamper with Jesus' own words. And what you heard in this talk, pointing the stars basically for people in the entertainment, singing, everything else. People, educate yourself and stop relying on these false religions and these dangerous cults to bring you closer to God, closer to Christ. It's not going to happen. So thank you very much, and y'all have a wonderful day.